Microphone. Yeah, that's great. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming this Friday evening. I really appreciate it because it's Friday evening. Today we're gonna have 4 presentations. Do you hear me? Right? Yeah. Today we're gonna have 4 presentations about Magento2, particular about the migration to Magento2 from M1 as well as other platforms. And what we are trying to figure out is how it can look like, and is the effort or is the business value worth the effort needed to do the migration. We're gonna have 2 presentations, then short like 10 minutes break, and then another 2 ones, and then plenty of time for questions, meeting, networking, and so on. So I have the first presentation about the migration process. My name is Piotr. I am CTO of Divante. We are a business software house based in Poland, in Wrocław. We have 160 people on board, and we are Magento Silver partner. So what I'm gonna speak about is how the migration process can look like, how much effort it requires, and when is the best moment to do this. Basically, Magento2 was released as a stable version in November 2015, but the first voices I've heard about going with migration started to be voiced with 2.1. The 2.1 version was it was a huge step with fixes for all those chill disease issues, like stability issues, like other ones. So yeah, I would say that now we have pretty good relays with 2.1 to go with migration is stable, and it's just fine. We decided at Divante to go with new implementations only on Magento2. We are not doing M1 anymore. So what's changed with M2? There was a kind of a revolution to the platform. They had huge technology debt in Magento 1. It was on the market for 8 years. All the other frameworks like Symfony 2 and other platforms at some point were, a few years before for Magento. Like they had better architecture using more object-oriented programming principles and so on. So developers at some point were, frustrated with it. So Magento had to cross the chasm, cross the gap, the technological gap. So new version of Magento came with a whole new architecture. Like, for example, I will tell you more about architecture on the next slide, but they implemented like inversion of control principles and changed the modules architecture. From the business perspective, new version came with new new admin panel with new teams, with full mobile support as well. But the bad news is that when you are trying to migrate M1 to M2, it's not as simple like running some migration script, but you have to almost rewrite all the customized code, rewrite a whole team you created for the M1. So the good moment to think about the migration, I would say, is redesign. When you decide to do redesign, you have to rewrite all the front end, no matter what. So the ratio of business value and the effort is optimal when migrating during the redesign. The effort needed to do migration is linearly dependent on the number of customizations you implemented to standard M1, like the number of modules you used, the custom code you write, the sophistication of the team. A few words about the architecture. I am CTO, so I have to say something to developers. The new version is yeah, it's kind of a revolution. The main changes are like there is no longer a static mage class. They switch it to inversion of control container, which is pretty cool. The architecture of the modules of the XML files is now changed. They changed the ORM layer, like querying the database. We have new repositories, entity manager, a lot of cool things implemented. Of course, there are some downsides with those implementations, and I also will cover this topic later on. From the business perspective, like for business users, the most visible change is a totally new admin panel, which is now mobile friendly. It has a lot of JavaScript, it's faster, it's more fancy, more easy to use. Also, the structure of the front end changed a lot because now it's not a plain HTML and CSS files, but rather whole new JavaScript framework, which is responsive, which is reactive, in fact. So it allows you to build pretty cool modern code which cover your technical needs for next 5 years, which is pretty important. Okay, now a few things about tools that Magento provide to make the migration process more easy. There are 2 tools. First one is Magento Code Migration Tool. Both tools, this and the data migration tool, which will be covered on the next slide, are available on the GitHub. The code migration tool is for doing all the things that can be automatized. Like this tool can rewrite the XML files, which structure was changed between the versions. It can add, for example, namespaces to the PHP code, because now the code is using PHP 7 features like namespaces. It can change the directory structure automatically and modify the code in the areas where it interacts with core Magento. Like if you use some static mage calls, it will be changed by this tool. Maybe not everywhere, but in much of the places for using dependency injection. This tool unfortunately doesn't support migrating the teams, because the changes on the front end are so huge and so custom that cannot be changed automatically. And it cannot change any business logic. So if you have your custom modules or you are using some third-party extensions, you have to take a look at those things. And I will tell more on this in the next 3 slides. Data migration tool is, I would say, more self-sufficient. It can do more things by itself. Like it can migrate automatically products, categories, customers' data, core configuration, shipments, credit memos, orders, and all the entities you have in the database. But what it cannot migrate automatically are, for example, credential, like API credential, passwords. Custom data, I mean custom added tables and fields to the database, as well as it cannot migrate media files and custom DB layout updates. Like you, for example, were using some layout updates saved in product entities or catalog entities. There are no longer there after migration, because the structure of the blocks of the layout has changed. I think that the most important slide here is about the migration process and the effort needed to do the migration. As Magento requires, and I also strongly recommend, it's good to begin with some code audit at first, because you have to at least you have to check how many modules you have to migrate. If they have new versions for M2, or how many custom code you have to migrate to create the backlog for developers. And this backlog is kind of a foundation for building an estimation of the overall cost and overall time needed to do the whole thing. The good thing is you can use the code review also to benefit. Like you can get some security vulnerabilities found about after the process, and you can check some performance bottlenecks as well. So after doing this audit, which takes usually 3 to 5 days, you've got the backlog for developers. You can estimate the effort needed to do a migration after that, and you have some added value like a list of vulnerabilities, security fixes to be applied. In the parallel, you can run empty version of M2. You can run in some test server and allow your business users to get familiar with new admin panel, with the features that are standard in Magento, because the functionality of the Magento itself has been really extended with M2, with M2.1, and with each new version. So it's a good idea to learn how to use it. Of course, then you can migrate the data using migration tool. Those 2 steps take like 1 day. It's easy to do this. And then the 4th step, which is most time consuming, is making the redesign itself, like creating mockups, or maybe you can choose some theme ready-made for Magento2. There is a whole lot of themes already made, so you can use one and simply modify it. It takes from 2 to 8 weeks. It of course depends on your front end and your interactions on the front end, because if you have a lot of JavaScript, it can take even longer. Then you have to migrate the custom extensions, and of course test stabilizations and launching go live. Here is a slide presenting the algorithm for migrating third-party features. I copied it out from the slideshow, so here is a link to original source. The algorithm works like, given you have some custom feature you implemented using extension. First, ask yourself if you still need this feature, because after a few years of using store, you probably get used to some features, but some of them are not in use. So maybe it's not needed. If not needed, the answer is very simple: simply delete the feature. If it's still needed, you have to check if it is already included in Magento2 core, because a lot of new features, like in admin panel, are already there. Like, for example, mass actions, or managing the columns in panel, which were common features that were implemented using extensions, now are already there in Magento. So you will have them for free. If the feature is not in Magento and is still needed, you have to check what to do next. And you can do 3 things. First, you can continue with the vendor, which is the default choice. Like, for example, we are using pretty often the module Amasti Promotions. You probably know it. It's pretty cool. And they have version for M2. It works just fine, so you can use it. If the extension is not available for Magento2, you have to migrate it by yourself, rewriting the code or writing it, from scratch, or find another vendor with similar extension, of course. The migration of custom features, like the ones you have written by yourself or by some IT company for you, is simpler, because you have to check if you need this feature, if it's in Magento core. If not, you have to port the feature by yourself. The porting features sounds pretty scaring, but it's not so scary as it looks at the first glance, because probably you will have to change the structure of the code. You have changed all the Magento calls, change it, for example, to dependency injection. Probably you will have to do some more research on the database access, because it's changed a lot between the versions. And then you have to test it and stabilize. The features on the front end are more sophisticated if you used a lot of JavaScript. Now the JavaScript framework in Magento changed a lot, so you probably will have spent some time rewriting the front end. Okay, and the main question is it worth it? I would say that now, in the next few months, you will have to answer this question, because Magento guarantees support for M1 until 2018. So after some point there will be no security fixes, which is, security fixes are everything for open source software, because if the source is published, everybody knows how to use the vulnerabilities in the code. Magento2 is much more, it can be much more efficient and scalable. There are a few features like new indexation model, the indexation deadlocks and problems with indexation algorithms, so are a common problem with M1. In M2 it should be easier to deal with it. They implemented Elasticsearch support in 2.1. Full page caching is enabled even in community version as well. And what is also great from the business perspective is that the roadmap for M2 is totally different than it was for M1. Like for M1, in each new version you've got some minor features and few fixes. Now with new versions you get really cool stuff, like with 2.1 they integrated something called content staging. In 2.2 there are planned some B2B features as well. Now there was news 2 weeks ago, like Magento bought Bluetooth CMS, and it somehow for sure will be implemented in next version, so it's also a great idea. About the effort needed to do the migration, from our experience, as we did some projects like that, and Mateusz will tell you about one of them. It will take about 50 to 80% of the budget and time needed for initial implementation, something like that. Mostly because you have to rewrite all the front end. Probably there are some modules that are using, and they should be ported by developers because no new versions are available. This is why I recommend doing it with redesign, and Keith will tell you some cool things about scientific redesign as well. But I would like to show you a few slides about one of our cases, redesigning the page, and the benefits that we earn after the redesign. It was for Odlo, odlo.com. It's a Switzerland-based sport fashion retailer, and we started cooperation with those guys last year in January, I think, and they have a few challenges. Like they have problems with stability. The site usually goes down with the traffic peaks. They have problems with performance. It was quite slow, and they have pretty low conversion rates as for the industry. So while we were doing some things like migration to our servers, or SLI services were being implemented, we also suggested that maybe we will take a look on the front end and try to find out why the conversion is so low. So we started with user experience audit. It's like experienced user designer, which is at Divante, which is usually a psychologist focused on the client, on the end user. Take a look on each page compare the data he gets from heuristic he is using to score the features on the front end with the data from Google Analytics or other analytical system, to find out why the conversion is so low and what we can do to improve it. And here are some slides from the report created after the audit. You can see the suggestions there with the stars, meaning the prioritization of the features, because we try to set the priorities for each changes to achieve the most value from the less effort. And here are some examples. The worst results, the worst conversion was on the mobile page. So we started with it. We changed our homepage a little bit, changing the slider and exposing more categories, because it was quite huge and a number of users exiting on the homepage. So the bounce rate was pretty high, because they cannot find if this shop is for example selling bikes. I used Google and find this shop and enter it, and there's no bike here. So yeah, it's simple like that, but it works. And the second thing we redesigned was a bra finder. Bra finder is for configuring the bras. Without using this tool, it's almost impossible to buy a bra on this page. But it simply didn't work on the mobile at all. So we redesigned it, fixes the most obvious issues you can see on the left version. It's simply front-end bugs. And then we go with navigation. We changed our information architecture a little bit. And then we went with desktop version. First of all, we changed our product page a little bit, because it has uncommon layout, I would say. It was pretty hard to guess that the add to cart button is here. If you have lower resolution, you can see like that. It was not a good idea to have the cart button so low in the bottom. So we changed it, and we moved the variants to be near the price, near the add to cart, and we added some recommended products as well on the bottom. Yeah. The 404 page is my favorite, because it seems at first that it makes no sense to do something with this page, because nobody is entering it, but that's not true. They had some categories within. They had products that were rotating. So, for example, they were disabled very fast because they had low stocks on them, but they were indexed by Google prior to the moment they were disabled, and then quite significant number of users got 404 because they clicked in the Google and the product is no longer on the store. So we tried to do something to distribute this traffic, this 404 traffic, to other sites, like showing the bestsellers, showing the products from the category you are probably looking for. And the checkout, on the left side, you can see the initial version. The checkout was quite narrow. You can imagine how it looks on the iPhone. It was almost impossible to use it without zooming the screen, which is crazy. And we tried to make it more fluid, like more responsive. The result is on the right. After all those steps, we also implemented changes using JavaScript and HTML, improving the performance of the site as well, because we rewrite all the JavaScripts. And we get pretty cool results, like mobile conversion has increased by 102%. Bounce rate has been dropped by 40%. I think it's because the 404 page. And conversion rate has risen by 30%. No, the number means that they are doing 37% numbers more from the same traffic numbers that they had before, and it equals more revenue. So it was really worth doing. The last slide is about what you should be careful about using Magento2. The most important thing is that the software itself is being under very active development, I would say. So between minor versions like 2.0 and 2.1, there are still some, there is not compatible. Yeah, they changed, they introduced something called Entity Manager. It's for interacting with database. A lot of modules, even in core Magento, still are using resource models like in M1, but they mark them as deprecated usage. So you have to upgrade it because probably in 2.2 there will be no resource model at all. So it's I'm not sure, but I'm guessing. But this is very confusing for developers because there is no single way to do something in Magento2 right now, because you can, for example, interact with database for 3 different ways, and which one is the best. You can track blogs like Alan Storm and Alan Ken's blog to find the answer which one is the best, because those guys are really close to core developers of Magento. What is also interesting that after all the changes and after the front-end structure changed, we had to change the structure of our teams, because we used to have back-end developers and front-end developers, which ones were like HTML and CSS guys, and now to be front-end developer for Magento, you have to know JavaScript deeply. You have to be JavaScript developer more than HTML guy. So it's quite a kind of revolution for the front-end guys. They have had to learn a lot, and the learning curve is pretty steep, because if you are not if you don't know JavaScript very well, it's hard. And the last thing is that migrating to M2, doing the code audit, trying to estimate the effort prior to doing some development is really important, because there are some modules like some payment modules or some shipment modules that were already implemented for M1, and doing some estimation, you probably will estimate it for like 2-3 hours to simply turn the module on, and then you find out that there is no version for M2, so we have to write it from the scratch, and it will take not 2 hours but rather 100 hours. So it's very easy to overrun the budget if you don't plan it well. Yeah, I think that's all. So if you would like to have an extended version of this presentation, or the text description with a lot more details, because I was a little bit stressed, simply give me your name card or send me an email and I will share it with you. Okay, thanks. So I think we can start another presentation and then do some break. The time for questions is during the networking. So I would, we would like to, not turn you off. So let's go quickly with presentation. Yeah.
I've got a quick question. Is it possible to install a fresh Magento2 and just migrate the order and products and customer detail? That's it.
Yeah, it works pretty cool.
Would that be easy to actually do?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Okay, so the next presentation is about, is in fact about scientific redesign.
Was it me next?
Yeah. Yeah, Keith, come on.
Not sure if, can everyone hear me at the back? Good. Apologies for my sort of surprise reaction. I thought it was on third, but you know, it'll get mine out of the way.
Can't hear you that well.
Let me turn me up a bit. I'll turn myself up. Hang on. Is that any better? That better? Yeah, hang on. Yeah? No? Yes? Yeah? Okay, cool. Right, I'm going to talk a bit about scientific redesign, as Piotr briefly mentioned in his presentation. I'm from New High Digital, and we're a digital agency a little bit out of the ordinary. So that's our value proposition statement. We're a strategic digital marketing agency who specialise in helping dramatically increase profits for establishing e-commerce businesses, blah, 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 blah. Basically, we employ scientific and data-driven processes to help e-commerce businesses grow their profits, grow their conversion rates, improve website performance, all that good stuff. 3 key areas we use: data-driven strategy, A/B testing, and traffic optimization. Put all those 3 together and you'll get your guaranteed growth. I thought I'd just introduce myself, my business partner who can't be here tonight, unfortunately. He's on a plane to Lithuania as we speak, but my name's Keith Scott. I've been in the digital industry about 13 years. I'm not a true consultant in the true sense of the word. My specialities are paid traffic, affiliate marketing and email marketing, but I've spent a lot of time in the industry running and being part of two successful e-commerce businesses. The most recent being was my last job before we started New High as the agency was with LED Hut, and we grew that from a startup to the biggest LED lighting retailer in the UK online inside 4 years, and sold it for 18 million quid in September 2014. So I've got quite a lot of experience in the other side of the fence, if you like, in terms of being part of a successful, fast-growing e-commerce business, and I've actually used a lot of these strategies and methodologies in growing that business to where it was and where we managed to sell it on. Partner is Jamie Hands. He's got a little bit more experience than me, and Jamie's more of a true consultant. He's worked a lot of his career for conversion rate experts, who are a well-renowned conversion agency in the business. He was a senior consultant for them, and he's worked with some serious brands, Amazon, including Lloyds Bank, Halifax, Bank of Scotland, people like that. In his conversion wins, if you look at Lloyds Bank, for example, I think he changed a form around for them, and it was about 13 million quid was the win. And because they've got so much traffic and so much is vested in what they do, the wins are worth a lot of money. More detail on what we do. We employ a proven growth methodology. So Jamie worked for CRE, so we use a lot of that. It's proven with all the big brands. So we can deliver a range of services for clients across the world, actually. The first step is an e-commerce audit. Peter touched on this earlier. We do it slightly differently to a lot of other agencies in terms of how we structure it and what we do. This is a 2-stage process. The first stage really is a sort of quick overview of. We would produce a 20-page report on Google Analytics or whatever their analytics package is, to look at various key aspects of the site to see where we can improve, where the bottlenecks are. And if that audit proves successful and the client wants to move on, we do a much more detailed deep dive audit that takes 2 or 3 months, where we actually go into every aspect of the business. From we do detailed customer surveys, detailed traffic analysis. And then we actually speak to people in the business and logistics and customer service. Because one thing that I can relate to from being on that side of the fence is a lot of agencies in our business will go in, oh, we'll double your conversion rate, or we'll do this. We can increase your business by X amount. Not really thinking about the impact that has on the other aspects of that business. So if you double the orders for an e-commerce business, and they haven't got the logistics capabilities to back that up, the warehouse, the supply chain, everything else is a knock-on effect. So the deep dive e-commerce audit spawns a growth roadmap, which we present to the business, and then it's usually a 6-month, 12-month plan where we stage the growth so that we can best appreciate how that's going to go forward with that business, and let them manage that growth as best they can. We have obviously conversion rate optimization service and traffic acquisition optimization. So you could see from Peter's slide before about how the case study was with the mobile in particular. We take that like a step further, because the expertise we have is more well-rounded, so we can compound those growth. The conversion, we can increase the conversion rate, drive more traffic at a higher velocity, and compound the growth that the business is going to get. And all those aspects together then combine in the sort of scientific or data-driven website redesign that's sort of the end goal. So let's touch on a couple of aspects to that and go into a little bit more detail. Conversion rate optimization is the easiest way to add profit to your business without additional advertising costs. That's true. And there we go. This is the virtuous circle of CRO, this is called. It really is sort of like common sense. Everybody knows a higher conversion rate means you make more profit on every click you buy. And I mentioned buy because most traffic sources are cost these days. Then this allows you to spend more on traffic, so it results in more traffic to your website. So the higher your conversion rate, the best thing you can do is not sit and count your money, reinvest that money in more traffic. The more traffic your website gets means you can test and learn faster. And then that increases your conversion rate more. And you can increase that conversion rate quicker. And then this is where the snowball starts rolling down the hill. A strategy like this in an e-commerce business in a competitive environment allows the people that do this right have a massive competitive advantage. You can obliterate your competition. We did this with LED Hut. We were able to we had a very aggressive marketing strategy whereby we could bid more for traffic than any of our competitors could. It's just simple. Our ROI was so good, our CPA was so good that we just blew our competition away. And then you just rinse and repeat, and it just keeps going round and round and round. So the main topic tonight is scientific website redesign. We don't get this very often where we have to do a full website redesign, but we actually are working with Divante at the moment on a Magento2 installation actually, and this is where this idea crystallized really in terms of where scientific redesign fits in the Magento migration process. A client will say, I need to redesign the site. My website's crap. But this is a very risky business. We get clients that say this to us a lot. And a conversation I had just before Christmas was with a sporting goods retailer who they're doing £7 million online. Their site, I think, converts at 1.2%, which is not bad. It could be better, but it's not bad. And they were a couple of months into a website redesign project. They had no testing, no UX, they'd done nothing. They were just thinking, we need to make it more modern. We need to make it look better. But that's a huge risk. It's fraught with danger. You could, it might work. You might increase the conversion rate, but it's not guaranteed. Especially, and if you're doing that kind of revenue number, even a small decrease in conversion is a lot. It results in a lot of cash. And also, it can affect SEO rankings and leads to decline in traffic. So when you put less traffic together with lower conversion, you get a major downturn in revenue. So this is where the risk lies. Our scientific redesign approach this data-driven, research-driven approach alleviates that risk as much as possible. So you've got as smooth a transition as possible, if you like. So what happens if you get it wrong? This is a true story. Some people may know this, some people may not. Marks and Spencer, I think it was a couple of years ago, their website cost 150 million quid. Good work if you can get it. They basically launched a brand new front end. From what I hear, there was very little testing done. I don't know who got sacked. The revenue dropped by 8.1% in the 13 weeks after that was launched, and basically the share price went down, and God knows how much that's cost them. But that's an extreme example, but that shows you the critical business risk that you run if you don't do this properly. So let's look in detail at how it fits into the Magento2 migration process. I've already been asked this question once tonight. I think the redesign part of it has to start at the beginning. So when a client or whoever has decided that they want to migrate, the scientific redesign process has to start then. And how to get it right? Well, we've been through the process already, so website audit to get your insights, ascertain what's performing well, and then identify areas for improvement. Then you go through the redesign process, and then test, test, test. You have to have this testing culture within the business that you're working with. We try and educate business clients who we work with on this and help them with it. And it's difficult, but once they get it, the culture then sort of is embedded in the business, and they take it forward for themselves. So let's look at, we do mini audits and audits all the time, so we look at a lot of different businesses. We see patterns of areas where there's holes and there's that need improvement. So I've picked, using the data insights from the audit, we can identify and we prioritize the area. So I'm going to look at a couple. We've touched on one already, mobile performance. We see this all the time. Mobile traffic, in most, I would say 80% of the audits we do, mobile traffic is 50-50 with desktop at least, and in most cases more. This is a funny one, and we see this a lot again, browser compatibility and performance. This is actually an easy win, it's low-hanging fruit, but there's a lot of clients who we work with don't have the technical expertise or don't really appreciate that the performance, and I'm not talking about Internet Explorer here, I'm talking about three main browsers out there. We see this a lot of times where we've got disparities in performance over different browsers, and there's no reason for it. And the third one that we look at is value proposition. I could stand here for 2 hours and go on about value proposition, but basically it's the USP and how that is communicated on the site. So again, very few e-commerce businesses do this well. The ones that do it well are highly successful. So we're going to look at a little bit of real data. I don't know if you can see that at the back, but I'll go like this. This is real data from an audit we did just before Christmas. It's for a fashion retailer, actually. So mobile performance was one of the key takeaways from this audit. And we actually prioritize it and we look at it in monetary terms, because when we're talking to a business owner or an e-commerce owner of a digital business, if you can actually quantify it and put it in pound notes, what it's worth, then it focuses the mind. So in this example, we've just taken the simple device analysis, mobile, tablet, desktop. Mobile visitors account for over 50% of new website visits to this website, but they're responsible for just 22% of overall revenue. The engagement is chronically bad, and conversion rate is 41% below the website average. So that doesn't, it's actually higher. I mean, the desktop conversion is 1.82% and the mobile conversion is 0.75. So we're not going to go and say, well, we'll increase we can get the conversion up to desktop levels, because that's not going to happen. You'd struggle even to get it up to tablet where the tablet is at 1.2. But if we stuck 26% on that, say, got it up to 0.95 from 0.75, that's worth £32,000 a month to this business. That's £300,000 a year forever. And that's just a small improvement. And you probably get that. To be fair, this business actually knows that their mobile offering isn't good, and that was one area that they wanted they need help with. But this is one of the key areas where, instead of saying, right, well, if they're on Magento 1, you can incorporate something like this in a re-platform to Magento 2. When the scientific redesign will incorporate a more efficient mobile offering, which will increase the conversion rate, and they'll get more return on that investment from doing a redesign that way. Next one is browser performance. These guys are a jewelry e-tailer, growing very quickly. But I reiterate, this is an extreme example actually, but it illustrates the point pretty well. You can see the top 3 browsers there. Firefox is performing absolutely desperate. The performance is really bad. And the bounce rate is nearly 80%, which is more than double the other 2. So this sticks out like a sore thumb. In reality, if you improve the Firefox conversion to that of Chrome, and there's no real reason why you shouldn't be able to if you did browser testing properly. I think from their point of view, they didn't really understand different browser performance. They were using the online tools that you can get, which aren't great, but they didn't actually realize there was such a disparity. And this digging deeper, it was they were using a certain marketing tool which was screwing up some of that Firefox conversion, but not all of it. So in reality, that 130 grand a month was probably about 80 grand a month once they've been through the process and fixed it. But that's not a difficult fix. That was £80,000 a month in revenue they increased by fixing that. And under most audits we do, they're a lot closer together, but you do see disparities. So what we do is we'll drill deeper into the browser versions, because you tend to see that it's a different browser. There'll be 1 or 2 of the older browser versions of Chrome, for example, that won't be working too well. So you can alleviate that pretty quickly. And the last one is value proposition. Like I said before, I could go on for ages about this, but we have detailed workshops that we work through with clients to go into all aspects of the business and pull out what we call value statements, which answer this question: why should a visitor buy from your website rather than one of your competitors? And you have to communicate that within the first 10 seconds on the front of your site. It has to be concise, it has to be crafted, and we have a lot of tools that help us do that. And the clients that do this well absolutely kill it. They really do, because people don't go anywhere else. So getting towards the end, so using a scientific data-driven approach during the Magento 2 migration process will reduce overall commercial risk. It's actually an opportunity to improve website performance, and that's the way to sell it in, because it's obviously you're packaging up as 2 for the price of 1. The actual technical aspect it's more stable, as Peter said. All the benefits of the technical advantages, as well as the actual front end performance with the customer, and it will maximise their return on investment. So the more performance increase that you can put on the front end, the better ROI it is. Therefore, it's easier to sell it, because obviously a Magento re-platform is quite expensive. So I'm going to do a blatant sales pitch here. If you want to get a head start, we've got a half-price mini audit offer. So if anybody, obviously I've talked in quite broad strokes here. I've not got time to go into a lot of detail. So if anyone wants to grab me after and talk in any more, if you've got any questions or anything you want to discuss in more detail with me, I'll be around until the end. So there you go. Thank you very much. Are we having a break?
Yeah, we're like
10-15 minutes break, so
Yeah,
that
cool.
everybody could rest, take a beer, and have a chat with each other.
part 2. Everyone please get your seats, come on back, welcome back. All right, my name is Mitch Goldman. I'm one of the organizers of the Magento Meetup group. I wanted to give a big thanks to start off for Divante for organizing tonight. They're a new organizer of the group. They did a great job getting us all together and finding speakers and presentations have been really good and getting you all here, so that's great. So I just want to give a little applause to Divante for setting it all up. So, thank you guys. Just a couple of housekeeping things that I wanted to do, which is to let you guys know that we are actively planning the next 12 months, next 11 months of the Magento Meetup. So we're looking for, of course, speakers and presenters to fill up those slots. We're trying to do more talks now. If you'll notice, 4 talks tonight rather than usually we do 2. We're going to try and bump it up and do more of them, but shorter ones, which means we need more content, we need more people. So if you want to have an experience, first-time speaker, 10 minutes, you know, something small, something simple, something that you know, something interesting, just a few slides in 10 minutes, and you can get some experience being a presenter and doing that. So please, you know, case study, something interesting that you did, show it off, some tips and tricks, or tools that you use, anything. A couple of presentations we're looking for. The new Magento2 Dev Box just got released. So if anyone gets experience with that and wants to do a talk on that, I think that would make a really interesting talk about the Magento2 Dev Box. Also, anyone who uses Magento for B2B, not just B2C, but B2B, I'd like to, last year we didn't have any talks at all on B2B and it was asked for several times. I'm also trying to get Magento's B2B product manager to give us a talk, so I think I've got him scheduled. I'm also looking to see, just out of curiosity, if anyone has any contacts at Primera, the company that bought Magento from eBay. I'd love to get someone from them to give us a talk about their overall strategy now that they own Magento, and they also just got like another 100 million in investment from a Chinese company. I really would love to get someone from them to give a talk about their vision for Magento over the next few years. So if anyone has a contact at Primera, please let me know. And that's basically it. We're also looking for, social media. We haven't done a very good job on social media in terms of our Twitter and anything else. Honestly, we haven't given it much thought, and most of the organizers, or all the organizers, really it's not our thing. So if anyone either is into social media or has someone at their company that they could donate some time to help us get our social media under control for the meetup so we can get the word out to you guys on social media, I'd really appreciate to have somebody come into the fold and be part of the organization team to be in charge of our social media. Would be great. And of course we're looking for new sponsors. .mailer is fantastic. Actually, another round of applause for .mailer for hosting us again. Thank you guys so much for that. You guys do such a great job. But we don't want them to have to do it all the time. So if you've got a company that can host this many people and can do a presentation, please let us know, and we can we can get around to other places as well. And the last thing I wanted to do, since we have a lot of people here, just to help the next round of networking that we do afterwards, is to just do a quick shout out. If you're hiring or if you're looking for a job, just stand up now and just say, hi, my name is, and I'm looking for this, and then come meet me afterwards. Just like 2 seconds, just real quick. Let's just do it. I'll start. My name is Mitch. I'm a Magento product owner, project manager, and I'm looking for a job. So.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm looking for a programmer. So programmers just find me. So we are GPMD agency, and we're looking for a mid-level programmer.
Cool. Who's next?
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm looking for a mentor in Magento, someone who can help me out, one-to-one sessions and things like that.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm a contract project manager. I specialise in Magento. Just launched a Magento 2 project. and this is my sister, often referred to as the Magento sisters. Can come as a package with both contracts, so we're rolling out in the next month or two from our current business. So yes, if you need project management, we're really good, really, really good.
Anyone else? All right, and that's it. Now I'm going to hand it over back. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you for making it easy for me to gather all these people, ask them to come from that end to this side. Okay, I'm going to talk about search box that you would find on almost on the e-commerce websites. Just a little bit introduction of myself. I'm coming from a company called Klevu Search, and I am the CTO of the company. You will come to know what we do as we progress in the presentation. But I would like to start with asking a few questions, and please do give answers. I would really appreciate that. My first question is very, very simple. How many of you shop online? All of them. Thank you for responding. Thank you. My second question, why? Why do you go online and shop?
Convenient. Simplicity.
That's great.
Much faster. I don't have to trudge around inside a shop, and maybe you don't tend to get assistance possibly, and even sometimes the staff can be a little bit irritating.
Thank you. Yeah.
And cheaper prices.
Yeah. Why do you have to shop? Why? You are earning, right? Why do you have to spend your money?
That's what our money for.
That's a nice answer. Yeah.
Necessity requirements.
So that takes me to the first of my slide. I mean, would you say that this covers why you have to shop online? Or, well, shop. Sometimes you need some things, sometimes you wish to have few things, and that's why you'll go online or visit a shop and then you try to buy something. My next question, say you're on Amazon. I believe everybody would have shopped at least once on Amazon here. Say you are on amazon.co.uk. How do you start searching on that website? What do you do? Keywords. That's good. So you'll find a search box and then you'll start typing keywords, right?
Or you go for categories as well.
Okay, so that's the category navigation. You'll go through the navigation, you'll find a relevant category to your product. And something else? When you're thinking about keywords, how do you find out which keywords to use?
As you start typing in, normally you get the contextual, so you're getting, it should start telling you what keywords.
Yeah, so that's like an autocomplete thing. You are or auto suggestions. You're typing something and you're getting some suggestions.
Yeah.
But even before that, when you start typing, there are 26 letters on your keyboard. How do you decide which letter you want to press first?
Isn't it much more better to research what not on the actual shop itself, but online maybe what they're trying to get, whether that's possible or it does exist in the market as well or not?
Yeah.
From the beginning, and then maybe if it does, then what sort of versions it's got?
Yeah.
Because every single product it's not that every single product has got one version. The same product can have multiple versions.
There are so many products. Do you know how many products Amazon has on its website?
6 million?
More than 100 million. But what happens when you search? Do you realize they have more than 100 million products? It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it's quick.
It's quick, but it's efficient. When you're typing something, somehow some magic happens and you get to see the product that you have in your mind. Well, you are also doing your bit by specifying the context of the search. If you're looking for an iPhone, of course you are typing I, and that's how Amazon is starting to suggest you iPhone, right? But then, if you're looking for white iPhone, you would also start typing white. So you're providing this contextual information to your search box, and from that, the search box is learning what to show back to you. Does it make sense? So, at the end of the day, what you want is a happy moment. You want a product that is giving you happy moment. You want to be satisfied by spending money. I mean, come on, you're giving away your money to someone, right? And you want to be happy. So your search, your shopping is actually, it's not like just going in there and buying milk. Shopping is, you're going there, you're specifying your desires, you're telling your wishes, and what's happening at the end of the process is that you've discovered a product that you're looking for, and that's coming back to you. What happens when what you're looking for is not found? You get irritated, right?
It's not, maybe it might not be possible that Amazon might not have it.
Yep.
You never know if you do a global search.
Yep.
Then it might turn up at another online store somewhere.
That's correct. So you will go on Google and maybe search for that product to see if there is any other website which is selling the same product, right? But again, you will always have this confusion in your mind that this another website, how reliable is that website? Am I okay to give my credit card details to this website? Is that a fraud website? How do you figure it out? You do your research, right? But, I mean, what you said makes perfect sense. You get irritated when something is not found. And as a merchant, do you want your customers to get irritated?
So they can come back to you again.
They won't come back, right?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
because of the Google.
They won't come back.
Yeah, because of the Google. Now you go back to Google, you will search something, and you know you have lost your customer. And that customer may not come back to visit your website. So how do you get rid of this no result found? There are specialized people, researchers who are doing this research, and they are trying to figure it out that how can we avoid giving no result found on a website. What do you think? What people are searching on your website? If you are a merchant, people will come there, and usually the research shows that there are 3 types of queries people fire. Number 1, they want to get the high quality products. Doesn't matter what their budget is, but they are always looking for value for money. They'll always want high quality products. So often they will type something like this: high quality whatever. Or how do you figure it out if something is high quality product or not? How do you figure it out?
Customer reviews.
Perfect, thank you. What else? You want to provide some hints to your customer and tell them that this is the product that is really good. But what happens if a customer types high quality XYZ? Would your search support that? 84% of the websites don't support that. How do I know that? There was a research conducted by a very well-known institute. It's called Baymard Institute, based in US, and they collected the queries which are being fired on the top 50 US retailers website, and they tried to classify the queries in different categories. Now let me ask you a few more questions. Let's start from the top. Non-product queries. What do you think? Can you give me an example of that?
Store location.
That's correct. What do you think? What would be the most common query on an e-commerce website?
Shipping cost.
Returns. People want to return, and that's what they type. So that's non-product. Second item, exact query. What can you make out of that?
The product is exactly as it has been advertised at, and not maybe the picture might have been doctored, or even the business description might have been oriented right.
It's very simple. You are doing your research on Google to figure it out that what product is the one I'm looking for. You are copying the name of the product. You are coming to a website and pasting that name, and now you're expecting that the exit product will come up. That's called the exit query. Now let's start from the bottom. We already looked at the subjective query, like high quality. What do you think about symptom query? Any guess?
How do I cure a problem?
Perfect. And how does it work in offline shopping? Say I'm visiting a pharmacy and I have headache, right? I don't know which medicine to take. So I'll just go to the pharmacist and ask him that, hey, can you suggest me a medicine that's good for my headache? And somehow he'll bring it. Maybe I'll look at the name, maybe I won't, because I'm trusting him. And that's called symptomatic query. So people are searching in online world queries like symptomatic queries. Now what would that be? Say you want to buy a dress and you are going to attend one interview. Okay, so of course you'll come there and you'll search something like dress is good for interview. Now that's a symptom. You are saying that I want a dress that is good for interview kind of occasion. So that's symptomatic query, and there are other types of queries, but the problem is that all these complex queries are still not supported, and there's so much of opportunity here. And that's what we do at Klevu. We try to address this part of the queries, and we actually provide that search. Few examples. So this is the current state of the search. We have taken few examples. IKEA. How many of you have shopped on IKEA? Do you find their search good, bad, okay? Yeah. Well, when you search for table lamp, it does give you the correct result. It's nice. But what happens if I change the term, change the order of these terms? Lamp, table. I still see these lamps coming up. Why? Any guess? Yeah. How many of you know about Solar? Elasticsearch? I totally respect these open source systems, and in fact we use that one of these two as a backend in our search. But these technologies, they don't understand the context. For them, these are just two keywords. It's a lamp and table. They'll go and look around in products to see which product has got these two keywords, and whichever product has got these two keywords, the system will return that back to you. So that's why, this is the first instance I've described to you where you need some intelligence. AI, natural language understanding. We are saying that we want table on which I can put lamp, and my system should show that. Now, how does Amazon solve that problem? Here is an example. So autocorrection, we talked about that. When you type lamp table, what Amazon would do is it will show you all the possible categories. And now it's up to you which category you are selecting. You may choose Amazon warehouse deals, which is possible that it will give you tables, but you may choose lighting, in which case you will see lamps. What people like to buy, as we discussed earlier, it's mainly the top rated things. Now, if you're collecting reviews, they give you lots of information. The only thing you have to do is encode. I mean, you have to understand what these stars mean and allow people to search on that. So, if somebody is typing top rated bags, you want to see the bags which have got good ranking. Well, people want something on sale or on bargain or something that is available on discount. So they may write top rated bags on sale. And now you are continuing to show the top rated things, but you want to show the products where you've got some discount available. Still, people can go one step further. Money is the matter where you want to provide full flexibility to your customer. And how do you do that? You have to understand the price related constraints. On sale under 50 USD, and the product should show the products which are under 50 USD. Reviews. You mentioned reviews. How many of you collect reviews on your website? You collect them? Like, what do you do with them? So that people can read it, right? Anything else? Okay, can anybody guess what can be the use of these reviews?
I mean, a review should be, I mean, obviously reviews should be good and bad. And the thing is though, if a site only has 5-star reviews, then I wouldn't trust the site anyway.
Right.
So one of the reviews probably have to be fully independent.
Right.
And also not all of them should be 5-star, they should also be subjective, otherwise a review has no value.
Yeah, that's correct.
You just saying that the product's wonderful.
Yep.
That's self-proclaimed.
Yep. Yep. Anything else you can think of? Correct. Well, you know, sometimes people leave information behind in the reviews which may not be available in your catalog. Like here, somebody bought a backpack and he wrote that, you know, there is a plenty of space in that backpack and it has got nice size pockets. Now if somebody is coming, this is like a symptomatic search, somebody is coming and saying that I am looking for a bag which has got plenty of space in it, or it has got big pockets. Now if this information is not available in your catalog, forget about it. Your system cannot show that. But if you have got reviews, you can process them, you can index this information, and the search will help in getting that product back to the customer. But as you said, reviews can be positive and negative. So you need again an intelligent system which can process these reviews intelligently. It can understand what things are positive, what things are negative. It can extract the positive things and index them. So that's something that has to be done. And you must collect reviews and utilize them. Sometimes, again, this is from reviews. Somebody says that, you know, I bought a gift and my wife liked it. Now that there is an information that for whom that product was bought, if you're collecting that information, there you go. You can actually show the results for this type of queries. There is something called inferred queries. I don't know what will help me in the winter. I just want to say, clothes good for winter. And you know, I want to see the relevant products back. Contextual queries, off the shoulder. Now, what could be the possible products matching this query. So dresses are one thing, of course. What else?
Construction possibly could be like, for example, if you write, oh, I want, say, wedding dresses, either wedding dresses or birthday costumes or other things.
Bags, even bags.
Yes.
They, this keywords go with them. But you want to learn from the activity, the search activity of the website, and show the most relevant results to the customer. Synonyms is another thing. Do you add synonyms to your search? If somebody is searching for blue drapes and in your catalog you have used this term curtain everywhere, you still want curtains to come out when somebody is searching for drape. So what we do when a catalog is submitted to us, we automatically add lots of synonyms to your catalog so that you don't have to worry about it. Everything will be taken care by us. So some of our customers who have actually gone live with this kind of features, here are some numbers, the sort of advantage that they are getting. Because we are enriching the catalog, we are covering lots of contextual information from the catalog, 97% of the queries are answered. You will hardly get no result found. That's the advantage you get if you are applying this NLP technologies to your catalog. 60 plus click conversion. The most important thing is this, and that's you are investing some amount of money and how much return out on investment you are getting. So our customers are on average getting this 22x times return on the investment. We have a plugin in Magento, both in M1 and M2. What are the advantages you get? The first and the topmost is you get to preserve your own theme, your own layout. So you have designed, you have spent so much efforts to design your page, how the results should look like. We wouldn't change how your results are looking like. We will only supply the product IDs which should be shown on that page. The design and everything is preserved. If you are using our templates, then you know there are different UIs, different templates that we offer, and you get to choose between them. We have intelligent algorithms which can decide in which order the product should be displayed. But again, as a merchant, you always want full control on the ranking, and that's something that you can do. These are some of the common features which are requested to us, and you can actually find them more detail about that. Now, when we talk about migrating from M1 to M2, the thing is that as we saw in the first presentation, the data can be easily migrated without making any fuss about it. Our plugins only collect this data. We don't need to know about your design, anything. And all the data is indexed in cloud. What that means that if you are moving from M1 to M2, you can still reuse all the data that we have gathered, all the learning that we have done, just like that. Nothing extra needs to be done. The process looks like this. On M1, you initiate the on-demand synchronization just to make sure that if you have deleted any products, those are being taken care of. On M2, you can copy the credentials of your account. You click on the reindexing button again, and you know all the data is reindexed one more time, and that's it. That's it. This is how the advantage. I mean, this is how you can get the advantage from a SaaS service, because everything is stored in cloud, so you don't have to worry about keeping everything. You don't have to change your databases. We have recently, it's been some time that we have been working with .mailer, and what we are coming out with is a sort of integration that we have done. .mailer provides functionality whereby you can send emails to your customer. You can give them recommendations. Now, because we deal in search, we know what people want to buy. We know what are the things they are looking for and what they didn't find. If such kind of things are coming in your catalog, we can actually send recommendations to such customers. So there is a lot of improvements that we can do as a search company, and a collaboration with .mailer is something that we are looking forward to. Because we have these capabilities of dealing with natural language, we have just started providing a chat support, an automatic chat support. So if you're maintaining a Facebook page where your customers are coming there, you can actually ask Klevu to communicate with your customers, and Klevu will intelligently understand their requirements and it will show the right products to the customer. So that's something that's coming up. Similar to Amazon, there are other chat applications where we will be launching our conversation capabilities. Yeah, I mean that's it. If you have any questions about anything that I said, please feel free to talk to me. And I have my colleague with me here, Paul. I think most of you would know him, Paul Rogers. He is heading our operations in UK. So please feel free to talk to any of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just a minute, we'll just switch microphones. Okay. Hi there, everybody. My name is Mateusz. I'm a business consultant at Divante, and I will tell you one of our case study of Magento2 migrations. The good news is that my presentation is the last one, and because we have a slight delay, I will probably speed it up a bit, so I will skip some more complicated stuff and will give you just the basics and the most interesting stuff. Okay, first question. Please raise your hands, whoever knows the brand at all. Ever heard of it? Okay, one guy. You're probably Polish, right? Yes. Yeah, okay. That was easy to guess. Okay, so I thought it would be like that, so that's why I'll tell you just a really quick story about the brand itself. Solar is a really old brand in the Polish fashion. They're like operating for almost 30 years right now. They are premium fashion only for women. In Poland, they, for example, sponsor lots of cultural events like concerts, theatrical plays, etc. So you can imagine how they like try to present themselves to the public and to their clients. Those are like a few basic numbers from Solar. They're like 27 years on the market, as I mentioned before. They produce 1.5 million of clothes every year. They have like 74 of their own brand shops in Poland. Also 100 franchise shops. Few of them like are in Germany, for example, Russia, Ukraine, or Slovakia. So a few of them are like generally abroad. During the history, Solar won like 15 different awards. For example, fashion awards or excellence awards. I don't know them like all of them by heart, but that's how they look like. Okay, now I'll tell you a bit about the process of migration that took place. And talking about the process of migrations, we have to answer the question actually why we started the process and what was the decision behind the process. Okay, so first main reason was because the Solar decided to refresh their branding and their general presence to the audience, because the old branding, logo, etc. was, let's just say, old and was operating for a very long time, and decided to refresh it to maybe reach a bit smaller audience as well. And we decided with the client that it's a really good moment do a migration on to the other system, so Magento2, and it was compatible with the redesign. So they've made a redesign, and we started a migration back then. There are also some other issues because the old platform wasn't. It had its technical limitations, and because of those technical limitations, it was really hard to do some changes or upgrades, especially on the product page. So that was the one reason. It wasn't scalable enough for the client. Then every development task cost them really a lot. One of the also most important reason was that the mobile was a disaster. Let's say it's really short. It was really hard to do any shopping through mobile. So it was really a problem for them, especially in the 21st century, and the millennials who stick to the phone for 24/7. It really caused them drop downs in the sales. And in general, they noticed overall decrease in the online sales. So we knew that something has to be done, and that's what generally we did. We migrated the shop from PrestaShop to Magento. The main issue back then was that the Magento was just released, so we were a bit afraid of the whole process because we didn't know the Magento back then. We knew that it was totally different, and it was a challenge for us to face, simply to do the migration. There were also some different challenges for the client and for on our side. Next one was the deadline, because the new platform had to be ready for the new collection release. It was fall and winter 2016-2017, so just like a few months ago. The second was, as I mentioned, the new technology. It was new for us and new on the market, so let's say that nobody knew it by that time. And the third one was that the client had a fixed budget. They simply approached us and said, guys, we want to migrate, but we have like limited budget and we have to do it. We said, oh my God, it will be probably really hard, because we knew from the market that you will never estimate Magento2 properly. It is really almost impossible. Probably some of you who did some projects on Magento know that it's really hard. It's always underestimated. So it was really a huge challenge for us, but finally we somehow made it. I don't know how, actually. It's probably a question to the project manager or the team that's working on the project, but we somehow made it. Okay, those are like slight how we handle the process. We prioritize everything via Moscow, so every task was prioritized from the less important to the most important, or whether other way around. Then for the full transparency of the process, the product owner on the client side became a full member of our team. So we had daily telcos, weekly 2-week sprints, etc. So like now Agile, Scrum, etc. Okay, how did we start the process? First of all, we made a business analysis to check actually what the client expects, what are his needs, and generally to check all the processes within the company. Then after the business analysis, we made a quick UX audit of the existing site. Just simply to check whether there are maybe some good solutions over there, which are bad, and maybe to try to transfer the good ones on the new platform, and to trash the bad ones simply. Then we did some quantitative data analysis just to analyze how the website performs in general on the web. And at the end, we gave our recommendations to the client. So we made it, and we were really proud about it, especially that it was the first Magento implementation too for us, and we were a bit afraid of it. This is how the new main page looks like for Solar. This is like a listing of the products and the product page itself. And I think now there are going to be, okay, first mobile, because we also did a fully responsive mobile version of the site. And now some numbers like effects. So first of all, mobile revenue growth through over 200%. So it was quite nice. Then the mobile transaction was almost 500%. And mobile session 20%. And online sales in general after the redesign and implementation of Magento2 rose 30%. So quite nice numbers, I think, for the client and in general. And that's generally all, actually. So please feel invited to drink some more beers, have some wine, eat something if there's something left, especially the pizza. I don't know if they're left because I haven't had an occasion to eat it. And go and network. And if you have any questions about this case study or anything else, just feel free to approach me or any one of us. Thank you very much.